Very warm welcome to everybody that was with me last time round, and I'm hoping, obviously, that we're not going to have difficulties this time with the sound. As we go through the presentation, there will be some sort of questions and activities for you to engage with, and they will come up as polls, and I will ask Graham to put the polls up for us, and you will see them, and there's an opportunity then for you to type answers in and to interact. And what I will ask you to do is to also tick the green man when you finish, so that I know everybody has put their answers in, okay? And I'll attempt to read those and multitask as best I can. So welcome, hope everyone can hear me okay. And we're going to start from the beginning again. So some of the information for those of you that were with us before, late last year, it will be familiar, but for other people it will be new. And also there have been some changes because Ofsted very kindly updated their inspection manual and also the subsidiary guidance that goes with it, and they released that update on the 23rd of December, just when we were all knocking off and planning for Christmas, which was very kind of them, I suppose. So that's meant that an awful lot of schools have gone back and may be expecting Ofsted and are unaware of the fact that there have been some changes, and quite significant ones too, but we'll come to those. So this is what we're going to be looking at today. This is the outline of the things that I'm going to be covering, so I hope it's what you expected. And there'll be plenty of time for you to sort of digest things, and if you need to ask me questions, please do. I'm just going to change it so that I can see everybody's chats, I think. At the moment, I don't seem to be able to see all the chats. I can only see, oh well, we'll come back to that. Anyway, so those are the things that we're going to be covering on today's session. So again, perhaps before we start, we might like to take a moment to consider the following question. If Graham, if you could put the poll up for this slide. If Ofsted phoned you tomorrow, what would be your major concerns? And why would you have those concerns? So if you'd like to sort of think about that and type your answers and tick when you've finished. I can see that somebody's put pupils' progress. Books marked. We've got 10 answers so far. Things like attainment and rate of pupils' progress, pupil premium, what to do with pupil premium who are exceeding expectations already. That's interesting one. Okay, are we all just about done here? So I can see there's a whole range of things there to do with paperwork in place and paperwork up to date. Not to worry too much about the paperwork. I mean, really the only paperwork that that Ofsted want to see are a school self-evaluation and probably a plan. In terms of other sorts of paperwork, it's up to you what you want to present. Case studies, for example, spring to mind. But it is less about having perfect paperwork and policies in place, because really, with the short notice inspections now, there's not a lot of time at all to be able to read it, to be really honest with you. And things that are presented on day one, inspectors will take back to their hotels or to the house if they're going home and have to try and read them in the evening. So it's really more about the impact, you being able to show the impact of sort of policies, strategies and initiatives, rather than having what looks like perfect looking paperwork and action plans. Obviously things like your data, we need, when we're looking at data, we need to have confidence that the data that school presents to us is robust and accurate, and there are ways of doing that. Look at how your predictions for the last couple of years have measured up with actual outcomes, so results of GCSEs or SATs, for example. Also, we'll look at pupils' work and levelling or grading in those books to see if it looks as if, like teachers are levelling and grading, assessing at the correct level. And also through the talking with the data manager, looking at the data and seeing if it looks as it should look. And also we'd be looking for some sort of triangulation or correlation between the data that's presented to us and what you've currently got on Raise Online, and because if there are any sort of huge disparities up or down, you'd be wanting to look into that and to know why the data is different. We'll be taking a look at pupil progress and thinking about that later on, and also a little bit about pupil premium as well, because obviously pupil premium is really important. Okay, we can take that poll down now, I think. Graham, please. And I'll move on if that's okay. So, these are the sorts of issues that sometimes people say to me that they're worried about, and they cover some of the things that you said as well. There are new areas, and there's this one that's on the bottom right, which has been incorporated, and there have been some updates for January to do with the behaviour of what a thirst for knowledge and a love of learning might look like, for example. And inspectors should listen to you. They should listen to you, and they shouldn't try to trip you up. It's not meant to be an exercise in tripping people up. It's meant to be an exercise in trying to look for the evidence in the school and to come to a correct outcome for everybody. So I'm hoping that we'll cover all these sorts of things. At the moment, I can't see anything in the chat box. If you're there, Graham, I wonder if I need to press a different button. No? Okay. Well, we'll press. Sorry.
Bottom of the chat box.
Everyone?
At the bottom.
Yeah. That is bringing. Okay, that's good. I can see what people are saying now. That's good. Okay, so those are some of the issues, and I think I will cover everything that I can do, and there'll be some space at the end as well to try and answer some of your questions that if I haven't answered them as we go along, if that's okay. So, are you expecting the call? In which case, you need to know the latest versions of the two key documents, which is the School Inspection Handbook and the subsidiary guidance, and you need to know those very well. Now, it'll depend on your position in school. Classroom teachers don't need to know them inside and out. Senior leaders really do need to know them and know them pretty well. They've both been updated for January 2014. So you do need to make sure that you are referring to the correct version of the documents, because there have been changes, and it's important that you know exactly where you're at with those changes.